Hey guys, what's going on? It's KB Alpha, and welcome back to Everlasting Summer. When we last left off, we got a fantastic meal from Slavia, and she left her keys in the door, and we had a nice little talk. And I think we even, I don't know, I think we volunteered to go on a date to the beach. I mean, she mentioned that we should go to the beach together, so I don't know if that could be considered a date or not, but I don't know. So now she left her keys in the door, and we don't know what to happen. Now, let's think about this for a second. We just ran into what's her name, uh, Osla or whatever her name is. I totally forgot. I totally probably just botched her name. And she was pretty eager to get into the canteen. So if we do that, I feel like bad things are going to happen. She's going to get a hold of the keys, and I don't think she likes Slavia very well. And I don't know, I don't want anything bad to happen to Slavia. So if we take the keys, then we can prevent that from happening. And we can turn them into Olga Dmitrievna or something. But maybe she wasn't supposed to leave the keys and it was kind of careless of her and she's going to get in trouble. But honestly, I would rather have her get in trouble with the, the camp leader rather than have her get in trouble with a camp mate, because that seems like it could get bloody real fast. So we're going to go ahead and take the keys. I better take them. I'll give them back tomorrow because who knows what happens here at night. Such thoughts gave me chills. It's me who needs to be careful here in the first place. The night, though dark, wasn't silent at all. One could hear chirping crickets, the sound of the night birds, and rustling trees from everywhere. A sudden desire to follow Slavia's advice and go to the camp leader's cabin appeared. I don't know why, but the sight of the unknown bronze builder of communism put me in a constructive mood. I sat on the beach and started to recall everything that happened today. Bench, sorry. That was my all my that was all my constructive mood could offer. Here was much brighter than near the canteen, and tardy pioneers were running by, so this place didn't seem scary at all. Bus, summer camp, girls. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. Ooh, move that out of the way. A girl, reading a book. Lena! I decided to move closer and talk. She was the only new person I had met here without exchanging even a few words. Hi, what are you reading? Lena was so surprised that she even jumped. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Never mind. She blushed and stared at the book again. So what are you reading? On the cover was written Gone with the Wind. I like Gone with the Wind. It's a good book. I've never read it, but the story, I know the story somewhat, and it's a classic. You can't go wrong with a classic. I feel like this would be a good idea for us to get to know her. So I'm going to praise it. Good book. Thanks. Honestly speaking, I haven't read it, but I think that such literature suits her very well. Exactly what I said. You see, I know things. Lena didn't seem to be interested in continuing the conversation. Well, if I'm bothering you. No. She answered while still looking at the book. Can I sit beside you for a while? Why? And really, why? Maybe just because I was very tired and having company is better than being alone. Maybe I wanted to try to find something out from her. I carefully examined Lena. But no, I doubt that. Well, I don't know. I'm not allowed to? Feel free. But if I'm bothering you, no, you're not. I can leave, just say. Everything's alright. Okay then. I sat on the edge of the bench, on the end of the bench. What is with me fucking up my words? I sat on the end of the bench carefully. After such an intense talk, staying here was the last thing I wanted, but it wouldn't be nice to just stand up and leave. That didn't really go well, huh? Lena hasn't answered anything. It seems I made a fool out of myself. I bet if Uliana was here, she'd have a good laugh at me. Do you enjoy being here? I recalled I recalled the Slavia's question and thought it would be a good start for the conversation. Wow, the grammar here, wow. I've noticed it in several of my other videos, and then this, but this just takes the cake. Wow. Yes. She smiled slightly. I guess I like it too. Lena definitely isn't very sociable, and probably can't carry on a meaningless conversation as easy as Slavia. There was something about her that attracted attention, like a momentary glimpse of a reflection in the glass on a rainy autumn evening, which makes you turn around and stare into darkness, searching for something that you saw out of the corner of your eye. Of course, you weren't able to distinguish or understand what it was, but it still felt so tempting. Lena was still reading the book without paying any attention to my presence, and I had no intention of asking her anything about this camp or this world in general. Beautiful night. Yes. How in a world would you start a conversation with her? It's late. I have to go. Yeah, it's quite late. Wow, the responses from this guy. Nice. Good night. Night. There's something strange about this girl. At first glance, she is a typically shy and modest pioneer girl, but the mystery of Lena took its own place in the massive list of mysteries about this camp, which I had started to put together in my head. ... Before I continue, I just want to say there's several different endings that you can get. I looked it up. You can end up with any one of the girls, but apparently there's a good and a bad ending with all of them. And there's even a harem ending. I'm going to try and get all of them. So I'm just going to play it normally, as I would, and I'll see what ending I get. But once I figure out that ending, I'm going to just try and get all the endings. So, just wanted to say that. A lazy evening. There's nothing like a good time with nothing to do. I headed towards Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. The light in the house was on. Hello, Semyon. You're quite late. Yeah. I went for a walk to look around the camp. Alright, you will be sleeping here. Wait, what? Right here? I was a bit surprised. Yeah, is something wrong? We are out of free cabins anyway. The camp leader smiled, but I rather think it was just out of politeness. You do want to be a decent pioneer, don't you? There was a clear emphasis on the word decent. Yep, sure. I was lost in thought for a moment. Don't you mind it, mademoiselle? She looked at me oddly, with surprise and some offense in her eyes. Pioneers should respect their elders, Olga Dmitrievna said strictly. Of course he should. No one argues with that. I blathered, not realizing what was wrong. Shouldn't you also? She stared at me. Under such a gaze, even mithril forged by the best dwarf masters from the deepest dungeons would melt. Should I what? What's up, Toots? What am I saying? Annoyance and a lack of understanding made me raise my voice. You must address adults appropriately. Yes, of course, there are a lot of strange things here. This girl is just a couple of years older than me. Or maybe even younger. I decided not to argue, while just a few minutes ago, I would never have called her an adult. I have to admit that she was also given a very strong character. Ah, goodness, why am I always recording late at night? In any case, I wasn't in a position to argue. As you say, ma'am, I mumbled. That's much better. That is how a decent pioneer should conduct himself. And now it's time for sleep. Honestly speaking, I was going to become neither a decent nor an indecent pioneer. Just yesterday, I wasn't going to become a pioneer at all. But do I have a choice now? If you don't want to, we'll have to make you. This is the model Olga Dmitrievna was probably going to use. I climbed onto the bed and closed my eyes only to realize how tired I was after today. Something hammered in my head awfully, as if my brains had started a night shift. They seemed to be aimed more at rolling steel than working on something more sensitive. The bus flew through my mind. And the square with the monument. The canteen, full of pioneers, and the malicious face of Uliana. Slavia, Lena, and even recalling Alyssa didn't give me too much of a negative feeling. I like Alyssa. I really do. I want to try and see if I can't, warm her up a little bit. What if I'm here for good? That is a decent thought right there. Day 2. I was having a dream. It seemed like I was in some kind of vacuum, with nothing but nothing around me. Not only around, I was the only creature in the universe. As if the universe had turned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang. And something was just about to happen. Suddenly, I heard a voice. I could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me. But then I realized. It was the voice of that strange girl from the bus. The girl from the dream. What is she trying to tell me? Who is she? That's what I want to know. I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation. Not me being here was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that. And before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling, should avoid all contact with the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural flawness, almost normal conduct, becomes a nightmare in the morning, a grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. Then again, I had probably assessed the situation was acting accordingly. I glanced around, trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga Dmitrievna's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place, except for a pioneer uniform which was hanging from the bedhead. I fumbled with it in distrust, and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself. Bet I look like a clown. And for that, I needed a mirror. Or at least a tiny one. I finally found one on the wardrobe door. Holy! I look fabulous! I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes, the slouch, that deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead had simply switched bodies with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at this stranger, and only then realized it actually was me. It just wasn't today's me. Maybe the one from between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go. The person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Nah, screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. It worked out well yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside, a light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga Dmitrievna came out from nowhere. Good morning, Semyon. Morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that no matter what, my morning was indeed good. You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you with breakfast. Never mind. Here, take this. She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you. Now go wash yourself. I was about to leave. Wait a second. Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it, I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely. A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly the first time. Yours is askew. If you do it yourself once, you'll learn how to. Do we have to? I am going to wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me. I love being tired in the afternoon. Or at night. It's currently 10:27 whenever I'm recording this. Fine. Later then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. Wait, what lineup? What do you mean, what lineup? She frowned. It's Monday today. Weird, by my approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday, so we are having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late. All right, but where? At the square. Where else? There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I love how they have it in quotations. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilets, but at the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was still some minimal level of habitual comfort which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand just how essential they were. Screw this. As if I have any choice. Water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in the bag which Olga Dmitrievna gave me. I could brush my teeth without it. There was a small round box wrapped in a towel. Tooth powder. Cute! 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. It was Lavia, dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. She's hot. Hey there. Oh, hi. What's up? Good morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, real smooth. Why didn't you come for breakfast? I overslept. I said it as if I was proud about it. But Olga Dmitrievna gave me some sandwiches. Oh, great then. Don't forget about the lineup. Yeah, sure. As if I could forget. Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself. She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the past bend. Looks like it's a couple minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches, and then head to the square. I swung open the door of the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside, as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. It didn't turn out to be the best idea, because oh no! Inside I found Olga Dmitrievna, who was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Semyon! I looked away immediately. Have you ever heard of knocking? Now get out! Yeah, that was real clumsy. Although I did enjoy the sight, at least we know you're human. Olga Dmitrievna followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it is your home too. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events were, this camp was far from being the worst place on earth. But to call it home. Just after 1 day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go. We're late. And what about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. That works every time. We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga Dmitrievna kept on talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's. But I cared about nothing but the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening! Sorry. I was enjoying the food too much. Today is the first day of your new life as a pioneer. You should do your best so that it becomes a happy life. Yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties. Great responsibility is conferred upon him to participate in his social work, to help his juniors, to study and study and study again. We here are all like one big family, and you will become a part of it. Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories that will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking silly things? It seems I won't get any information from her. Shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday. Seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, the situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you now is to make the best of the time you'll spend here. I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is. And I think this is a good place for us to stop. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you will, go ahead, leave a like, comment, or even subscribe. Every little bit helps me out as a YouTuber and helps get these videos out to more people. And as always, I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.